A very good morning to all of you. You're watching Breakfast News. My name is Aditi Nagpal. Before we begin, let's take a look at the headlines. Telecom companies including Vodafone and Airtel told to pay outstanding dues of 1,47,000 crore immediately. Debt of Telecom issues notice after Supreme Court warns them of contempt proceedings. Mandatory for importers and exporters to declare GST from today. Move aimed at plugging GST revenue leakage, tax evasion. Terror-related violence in Jammu and Kashmir down by 60% since January 1st. Jammu and Kashmir DGP Dilbagh Singh tells Union Minister Jitendra Singh. Team of 25 foreign envoys conclude visit to Jammu and Kashmir, meet NSA Ajit Doval. Third Indian on-board Japanese ship Diamond Princess tests positive for coronavirus. India to screen passengers from Japan and South Korea in addition to current list of travellers from Thailand, Singapore, China and Hong Kong. Death toll in China climbs to 1,523. "42-day-long annual Amarnath Yatra to begin from 23rd of June. Registration to begin on 1st of April. After a strict warning from the Supreme Court, the Department of Telecom has issued notices to telecom companies asking them to clear dues immediately. Issuing circle-wise notices to telecom companies, including Bharti Airtel and Vodafone Idea, DoT asked them to pay the outstanding amount of 1,47,000 crores. An order for the UP West Telecom Circle asked all telecom service providers to clear dues by Friday midnight. Another order issued for the Rajasthan Circle sought immediate payments, failing which action would be initiated. Prior to issuing the demand orders, the DoT withdrew its order, which restrained action against any of the companies who failed to pay up dues by the Supreme Court mandated deadline of January 23rd. The dues include license fee and spectrum usage charges, along with interest and penalty. The notices come after Supreme Court warned of contempt proceedings against telecom companies, including Vodafone and Airtel, for failure to pay up dues. Telecom operators were required to clear their dues by 23rd of January, as per the Apex Court judgment of October 24th, 2019 in the matter. Importers and exporters will have to mandatorily declare GST in documents from February 15th as the Revenue Department moves to crack down on evaders and plug GST revenue leakage. In a circular, the Central Board of Indirect Taxes and Customs said that in certain cases, the importer or exporter did not declare their GST in the bill of entry or shipping bill despite being registered with GST. GST is a 15-digit PAN-based unique identification number allotted to every registered person under GST. While importers have to fill bill of entry with the Customs Department when importing goods, exporters have to file shipping bill. Terror-related violence in Jammu and Kashmir has come down by 60% in less than 1.5 months in the beginning of 2020. The information was conveyed by Director General of Police, Jammu and Kashmir, Dilbagh Singh, in his meeting with Union Minister Jitendra Singh in Delhi. During the meeting, Singh briefed the minister about the current security scenario in Jammu and Kashmir. He said that at the same time, there has been no major law and order or stone pelting incident at encounter sites. The DGP also met Union Home Minister Amit Shah and briefed him about the security situation and steps taken to maintain peace. The delegation of 25 foreign envoys that visited Jammu and Kashmir met National Security Advisor Ajit Doval in New Delhi on Friday evening. The envoys praised India's positive steps to restore normalcy in Kashmir. The members reportedly talked about the implementation of development programs, security situation, and the progressive normalization of the situation in the region. The 25-member delegation met Chief Justice, Lieutenant Governor, district administration officials and members from civil society, trade and press during their two-day visit to the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. Rajya Sabha MP from Andhra Pradesh, K. Ravindra Kumar, has written to Prime Minister Narendra Modi against Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister Y. Jagan Reddy's proposal to have multiple capitals for the state. In his letter, Kumar highlighted what he called the disastrous consequences of Chief Minister Jagan Reddy's idea, calling the proposal an ill-conceived misadventure that will have far-reaching implications for the unity and integrity of India. Kumar said the idea should be nipped in the bud. Kumar also underscored administrative problems for the country that would be posed if similar demands for multiple capitals were to be raised by other geographically and culturally more diverse states, accentuated by regional economic inequalities. Kumar also questioned in his letter the Andhra Pradesh government's recommendation to abolish the Legislative Council after it decided to refer the multiple capital bill to a select committee for detailed consideration. Meanwhile, Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister Jagan Mohan Reddy met with Home Minister Amit Shah in New Delhi. The leaders spoke about the state government's plan to set up 3 capitals and the move to abolish the Legislative Council, among other things. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Portuguese President Marcelo Souza held extensive talks on Friday, exploring ways to deepen bilateral ties in a range of areas, including trade and investment. Souza arrived in New Delhi on Thursday night on a 4-day visit, his first to India. According to officials, the talks between two leaders covered entire expanse of bilateral ties, including in areas of trade, investment and education. Souza is accompanied by a high-level delegation. Soon after the bilateral talks, India and Portugal signed 7 agreements to boost cooperation in a range of areas, including investment, transport, ports, culture, and industrial and intellectual property rights. The pacts provide for cooperation in areas of investment, transport, ports, culture, and industrial and intellectual property rights. Portugal is an important country for India in southern Europe, and bilateral ties have witnessed a steady progress in the last 15 years, Ministry of External Affairs spokesperson Ravish Kumar said. Modi and Souza had excellent discussions covering the broad canvas of India-Portugal partnership by leveraging the complementary strengths across sectors. President Ram Nath Kovind hosted a banquet dinner in the honor of Portuguese President at Rashtrapati Bhavan. Addressing a joint statement, President Kovind said that India and Portugal have exchanged 14 agreements and understandings, adding that the collaboration in the field of science and technology is making new headway.
Our bilateral economic ties are on the rise. In our discussions today, President Marcelo and I were happy to note that our bilateral trade has crossed $1 billion. Two-way investments are also rising. We agreed to harness the full potential of bilateral engagement in sectors like infrastructure, blue economy, renewable energy, water and waste management, IT, tourism and hospitality.
Earlier in the day, Portugal President Souza was given a ceremonial reception at the Rashtrapati Bhavan. He was also accorded Guard of Honor. After the ceremonial welcome, Marcelo Rebelo de Souza visited Rajghat to pay tribute to Mahatma Gandhi. Union Shipping Minister Mansukh Mandaviya accompanied him during the visit. Souza is scheduled to travel to Maharashtra and Goa during this visit. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu also called on the President of Portugal, Marcelo Rebelo de Souza. During the meet, discussions to further strengthen bilateral relations between the two countries were held. A delegation of MPs from Portugal met Bhupender Yadav, chairman of a department-related parliamentary standing committee of Rajya Sabha, on Friday. Several other MPs of Rajya Sabha were also present at the meeting. The delegates from both sides discussed various issues, with Yadav saying that the relationship between India and Portugal is very important from a cultural and economic perspective. The two countries work in mutual cooperation in several fields, including trade, transportation, culture, investment, intellectual property. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman said on Friday that the government is willing to accommodate feedback given by economists and industry experts while making changes in the Union Budget 2020-21. She also said that the process of obtaining PAN card will be made simpler.
Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman held an interactive session on budget and beyond with professionals from asset management, wealth advisory, tax consultancy and other related industries at the Niti Aayog on Friday. She told those assembled that the government was open to suggestions.
I was extremely glad that the monetary policy didn't bring a myopic view for the RBI. It also has extended some kind of a liquidity availability, given them some kind of a concessions, made EC liquidity available for them to get that, particularly mentioning the sectors, so real estate and auto components. So if there's more, please let us know. I also think we made a mention that there will be a tax holiday extension for the real estate promoters in our budget speech also. So the tax holiday that promoters enjoyed till probably 31st March now is extended 12 more months.
The Finance Minister said the immediate feedback on the Union Budget 2020-21 has been motivating with a positive impact on currency, bond and equity markets.
It is one budget where the impact on the equity market, the bond market and also the currency have had a positive impact. In that, the currency market remained stable, the bond market's yields cooled off and the equity was positive. So I want to take that as a motivating immediate follow-up. But of course we are open to hear a lot more from all of you also, that as and when the tweakings will have to happen to the budget, or as and when more has to be done beyond the budget, post the budget, we are willing.
The Finance Minister will be on a 2-day official visit to Hyderabad and Bengaluru on February 16th and 17th. She will hold interactive sessions with various stakeholders in both cities. In the longest union budget speech in history, Sitharaman talked about the tax regime, finance, agriculture, irrigation, water, sanitation, healthcare, education, infrastructure, women and digital connectivity, among other things. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
With this, we'll halt in for a quick breather, but we'll be back soon. Stay tuned with us.
The Union Cabinet has approved the Major Ports Authority Bill 2020, which will be introduced in the ongoing session of Parliament.
The most important aspect of this bill is that it aims to provide more functional autonomy and operational independence to the port authorities.
The port will be restricted to owning things and basically being the regulator, while day-to-day specialized operations will be done by people who are equipped to deal with that.
It provides you the impetus, it provides you with the flexibility. Now it's up to the people over there, the board, the workers and all the stakeholders, including the private parties who are going to be involved in this, to utilize this, the bill and whatever is available.
Art arisen from a multi-hued cultural canvas. Tradition and cultural fervour dating back centuries. And encircling them all, there's a magic that awes. Embrace your nation's brilliant human warmth. Watch Colours of India, Sundays at 9:30 p.m. on Rajya Sabha television.
Welcome back. You're still with us on Breakfast News. The 13th COP Summit is all set to begin on 17th February in Gandhinagar, Gujarat for the conservation of migratory species of wildlife under the United Nations Environment Programme. The conference will be inaugurated by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Representatives from 130 countries, well-known environmental conservationists and many international organizations working for wildlife conservation will participate in this conference. Apart from this, in the pre-conference session on 15th and 16th February, dialogue between the parties, high-level meetings and the Champion Night Award ceremony will be held. India will preside over the conference for the next 3 years as the host country. Union Environment Minister Prakash Javadekar said that various aspects, challenges and opportunities of preserving migratory species will be discussed in the conference. The 5-day conference will conclude on 22nd of February.
600 लोग भारत से बाहर से आएंगे और इसमें जो थीम है वो अतिथि देवो भव के पर निर्भर है. They connect, these migratory species connect the world and together we would welcome them at home. तो पृथ्वी उनका घर है और किसी भी देश में जाए उनका स्वागत है. एक सभी सृष्टि को हम बता रहे हैं और ये मूल भारतीय मूल्य है.
India has reacted strongly to Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan's comments on Jammu and Kashmir in his address to Pakistan Parliament. The Ministry of External Affairs has asked the Turkish leadership to not interfere in India's internal affairs. MEA said that India rejects all references made by Turkish President to Jammu and Kashmir, which is an integral and inalienable part of India. The MEA has asked the Turkish President to develop proper understanding of facts, including threat of terrorism emanating from Pakistan to India. Over 150 people living in unauthorized colonies in Delhi have received ownership rights till date. Housing and Urban Affairs Minister Hardeep Singh Puri gave conveyance deed to around 34 people living in unauthorized colonies, taking the total number to 151. Puri said that 20 people were given the conveyance deeds on 3rd January, adding that around 2.15 lakh people have applied online for registration. He informed that a mechanism will be devised for simplifying registration process. According to the minister, these 34 beneficiaries would be eligible to avail the bank loans.
Every morning I've been monitoring this, every morning, all right, for about half an hour, 1 hour. Producing the control norms, as I said, will be completed by end of this month. Is correct?
Sir, approvals will take more time.
No, we are preparing. We'll have to process it, it has to go through different process. But we'll finalize the control norms in more or less a final approximation stage. Uske baad we'll take approval, layout plans will be made, master plan amendment done. We are doing it absolutely as a top priority. That's the point I'm making.
The Central Board of Secondary Education examinations for class 10th and 12th have started today. 18,89,000 students are appearing for the class 10th exams, which will conclude on 20th March. But class 12th, more than 12 lakh students are appearing and these examinations will end on 30th March. CBSE Secretary Anurag Tripathi and Chairman Anita Kadwal have wished students for the exams and asked them to refrain from getting stressed. A day before the exams, the board chairperson also wrote a letter to parents with words of advice. A third Indian crew on board a cruise ship off the Japanese coast has tested positive for the novel coronavirus. The Indian embassy in Japan confirmed this on Friday as authorities confirmed that 218 people have been infected with the deadly virus on the quarantined ship. The cruise ship Diamond Princess, with 3,711 people on board, a total of 138 Indians, including 132 crew and 6 passengers, were on board the ship. Japan on Friday began allowing elderly passengers who test negative for the new coronavirus to leave a quarantined cruise ship and finish their isolation in government-designated lodging. Meanwhile, the Secretary of Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Preeti Soodhan, chaired a video conference with health secretaries from states, UTs, along with senior officials to review their preparedness for prevention and management of COVID-19. Also, DGCA, in order to prevent the spread of coronavirus in India, has decided to expand universal screening for all passengers arriving in flights directly from Japan, South Korea, Thailand and Singapore, besides flights from China and Hong Kong. In China, the death toll has climbed to 1,523, with 143 new fatalities reported mostly from the worst affected Hubei province, while the confirmed cases jumped to over 66,000. This according to the health officials. Beijing's Health Commission said it received reports of 2,641 new confirmed cases of novel coronavirus infection and 143 deaths on Friday from 31 provincial-level regions and the Xinjiang Production and Construction Corps. On Friday, the Chinese government had highlighted the continued drop of coronavirus disease, officially termed by the WHO as COVID-19, all over the country except in Hubei province. The 42-day-long annual pilgrimage to the holy cave shrine of Amarnath in South Kashmir Himalayas will commence on 23rd of June. This year's pilgrimage will be longer by 2 days against last year's 40 days. The pilgrimage had a duration of 60 days in 2018. The decision was taken during the 37th meeting of the board held at Raj Bhavan in Jammu and presided over by Jammu and Kashmir Lieutenant Governor G.C. Murmu, who is also the chairman of the SASB. The registration for the Yatra will begin from 1st April. And now let's talk about environment and climate change. Earth recorded its hottest January in history in 2020. Global land and ocean temperatures in January exceeded all recorded temperatures in past 141 years. Record hot temperatures were seen in parts of Central and South America, Asia, Scandinavia, the Indian and Atlantic Oceans, and the Central and Western Pacific Ocean. Temperatures continue to rise as carbon dioxide emissions trap heat in the atmosphere and warm the planet. The past 5 years have been the 5 hottest on record, and the past decade was also the hottest on record. 2020 will likely rank among the 5 warmest years on record. United Nations scientists warn that this increase could trigger a global food crisis, flooding, heat waves, and displacement of people. And now let's take a look at the weather conditions across the country.